Some sad news in the world of professional wrestling tonight. WWE star Wyndham Lawrence Rotunda, known as Bray Wyatt, passed away unexpectedly today. The news was announced by WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H on X, formerly known as Twitter. Rotunda was born in Brooksville and went to Hernando High School. He was also born into a wrestling family. His dad is Mike Rotunda and his granddad is Blackjack Mulligan. We don't know the exact cause of death yet, but we do know he's survived by a wife and 4 children. Rotunda was just 36 years old.
I've had 4 matches, okay? They were all against Big E Langston, and all that happened was he grabbed me and hit his finisher on me 5 times.
Right.
And every time I took it a different way. I took a wild bump, landed on my neck, my arm, my head, stood up, fell. You know what I mean? Like and Wyndham, Bray Wyatt,
right,
was sitting up there, and he watched me take this finisher a different way every time, and I popped all the boys. They're like, oh my God. They're dying laughing. Wyndham pulls me aside, puts me under his arm, and is like, you're going to be all right with me, boy, And here's a guy whose dad's the IRS, Blackjack Mulligan's his grandpa, Barry Wyndham's his uncle. This guy is in the business, and he was the first guy in the business who was born into it to be like, bro, fuck what they're saying, hating on you. I see how hard you're working to learn this shit, in the ring and shit, and,
right.
And you're willing to kill yourself out here. And he loved my shtick. So me and Bray Wyatt have been best buddies ever since. Still, love Bray. But he was the first guy to really see that. When I came through the curtain after taking those finishes all different sorts of ways, I got my job threat. I mean, you want to get fired? I was like, oh my God, dude.
Is our world heavyweight champion.
Who would have thought, right?
Who would have thought? I mean, did you think?
Yeah.
Did you always know?
Yeah.
Was this always part of the plan?
I don't think if you get into this and you don't have that mindset, you're basically wasting your time.
Yep.
Whether or not it was ever going to come to fruition, I knew as long as I hung in here, sooner or later I'd get to that point, and I was right,
Because it's been a long, rocky road for you in terms of, it's been quite up and down in terms of how you and the Wyatt family have been presented and booked. Was there ever a time when you thought, I don't know if this is going to happen for me?
No.
In terms of reaching the top of the mountain?
No. I feel like, too, like a lot of the times, like if I go back and look at the landscape of my life, my career here as well, it's like the ridiculously hard times are kind of what strengthened me.
Yeah.
And like now that I've been through hell, over and over and over again, and the ups and the downs, I feel like my mind is calloused. I'm almost impenetrable. Not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
So it's like I knew sooner or later I'd get to it. It was just a matter of how and when. And I waited for the perfect opportunity, and here we are going into WrestleMania as the WWE champion.
Yeah. So I mean, wrestling's obviously in your blood. Your grandfather, your father, your uncles are all in part of the business. So you talk about the down times and when things get hard. So when things aren't looking so rosy, do you take them really personally? Is it really tough for you?
No, I had this past year was very, very hard for me because I went to WrestleMania with The Rock, which is not my finest moment, and then it was a huge deal to be in the ring with a big star like him, I guess.
Yeah,
but it was not where I wanted to be. And
creatively,
then, right after that, things were starting to look good for a second, and then I tore my calf in Italy. Then Blackjack died, and then my best friend died about 2 weeks later, and it was just like everything was there, like all at once, just boom, boom, boom. And I was just sitting there, in my home, alone, just kind of wondering, and what can I do to get back in this? And it kind of motivated me and it took my mind to another place where I'd never been before. And it was like it helped me go forward,
Yeah.
And this year, so far, everything's been, wonderful.
It's been amazing.
And I think, and that's attributed to the horrible things that I went through last year.
Yeah. So let's talk about the good times. What's been a personal favorite like highlight for you in the years that you've been on the main roster with the Wyatt family? What's been a particular favorite moment or match that you've had as
like
part of WWE?
as a unit?
Either as a unit or a singles performer.
I've been asked this a bunch of times, and I have a bunch of experiences. Like obviously, winning this was probably the coolest thing I ever did. You know? It was a very rewarding moment, I guess you would say. But there's lots of stuff, you know, when you go into war with your brothers and they're all right next to you, and we're all fighting for something bigger than us. You know, I think back to the Shield.
Yeah.
I think back to Royal Rumble with Daniel Bryan. You know, even WrestleMania with Undertaker. You know, those are all like very proud moments. You know, I'm about to wrestle John Cena again right now. You know, I wrestled him at WrestleMania a few years ago. You know, and now here we are. You know, main eventing at Madison Square Garden with me as the champion.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a tribute to myself again, fighting through the hard times.
Now let's talk about promos, if you don't mind. Fans are very vocal about the stuff that the WWE performers say on the mic. There's this sort of clear distinction between what works and what doesn't, and I think it's fair to say that if something comes from within the performer, if it's very personal to them, it's going to be better than something that's been handed to them, you know, a script backstage. Are you given a lot of creative freedom because your character is very out there, but somehow it really connects with the audience?
Yeah, well, that's something that, again, I've been asked time and time again, and like no one can write words for me. You know, I'd like to know where we're going sometimes, you know, but I can only be me. I'm the only one that can be me, and like I'm not the type of person that I'm not like Enzo and Cass, you know, where I go out there and I hit the same punchline 100 times and drill it into your head so you chant it back at me and show me how great I am. Like when I go out there, I'm trying to deliver something important to me. You know, there's passion and there's emotion behind every single syllable that I put out of my mouth. And I feel like people have really connected with that, you know, on very deep levels, you know, not just entertainment value, but people that have like taken to it as life lessons, which, you know, is cool, I guess. But like it's when I go out there, it's because I want to deliver something special, and I wanted to give them something that no one else does, and no one else does me, because no one else is me. Yeah. And I think that will be my legacy when I die here, hopefully.
Now, a lot is made about the placement of matches at WrestleMania. Fans talk a lot about what will end the show, you know, what will be the final match on the show. On SmackDown Live, repeatedly the commentators have been saying that Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton will be the main event of WrestleMania. Do you guys know if you're going on last or not? And is that a big deal for you?
Yeah, I think it's we deserve it. I mean, why wouldn't we?
No, I agree.
You know, Randy won the Royal Rumble. You know, I'm the WWE champion. He's challenging me, and we can give them something that no one else in the card can give them. Especially not, you know, Brock and Goldberg is a spectacle. It really is. You know, it's something that people will want to see. But me and Randy is a whole nother beast, a whole nother animal, and something that can go forward for the next 10 years, you know. It's not, I mean, with all due respect to those two, we're the main event of WrestleMania.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And what can fans expect from the match? Because the storyline is very sort of set apart from everything else on WWE TV. It's completely different. I mean, first of all, when we talk about that storyline and, you know, the compound burning down and those amazing scenes, your performance, by the way, on SmackDown reacting to that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Genuinely emotional.
Well, yeah, when you've spent your life creating this.
Yeah.
And to see it all destroyed was a very emotional moment for me on the realest of all levels.
And do you have quite a lot of creative input in terms of how these stories are told and how we get to the beats of the story?
I don't know.
Not giving away too much. Fair enough. But yeah, what can fans expect from you and Randy Orton in the match itself?
It'll be a beautiful disaster.
I like that.
It'll be art, and it'll be violence, and it'll be story, and it will be a beautiful disaster.
What a great way to describe it.
Yeah, well, it'll be the only one of its kind. There'll be no one else to touch it on the card.
Yeah, I can't wait. Now, Bray Wyatt is the eater of worlds, but I want to know, if you don't mind, what you like eating in the real world. What's your go-to meal?
No, I'm a cowboy from the woods. I like steak.
Nice.
Well, I actually like Korean barbecue a lot, like Japan and stuff. Like
Yeah,
I
okay.
really like going out to do that. But basically, I just eat meat. I hate vegetables. I hate fruit. I like potatoes. I take that back. But everything else, I just really like steak and stuff.
So steak and chips as you go
It's
to.
very, well, no, say chips. Maybe.
Mashed potato,
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Maybe something
A lot more healthy.
Southern, yeah, a little more healthy.
Is Bray Wyatt a dessert man?
No.
You don't have a sweet tooth?
No. Like, yeah, I don't. That's not my thing.
Okay.
Deep fried, maybe. But desserts, nah, that ain't my thing, man.
Steak and deep fried mashed potato?
No.
Does that work?
If
Basically
you can figure
chips.
out a way to do that, I will pay the scientists to figure it out.
Now, I've got to ask you this. Are we going to see your younger brother, Mr. Bo Dallas, as part of a sort of new Wyatt family at some point?
I'm certain of it.
Really?
It's at some point, yeah.
Is that something that you and him discuss a lot?
Not a lot, but it's something we have discussed. We spent our whole careers together when we were in Florida.
Yeah.
Back before it was cool to be in developmental. So yeah, we were pretty good together, and I think it will come. It will come at some point because he's the most underestimated performer on this roster. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at the tapes.
He's a great
obvious.
performer.
Yeah.
He's a great performer.
and it will happen at some point, no doubt in my mind.
I've got goosebumps thinking about that. And very finally, just talk to us a bit about WrestleMania and your experiences of WrestleMania. It's not just one night. It's a week long. It's fun in the sun for a whole week in Orlando. What are you most looking forward to about WrestleMania week?
Well, there won't be fun in the sun for me. I'm really just looking forward to that night. You know? It's and trying to tell myself to enjoy this, because the stress is very real, and getting to that point and delivering, winning, all those things are very real. So me getting to that point, that night is what I'm looking forward to most, in that moment, and capturing something that I have not yet been able to attain.
Yeah.
And that is going to be something that I will remember the rest of my life. My children will remember the rest of their life. It's a very special thing, and teaching myself to enjoy it.
And do you find it hard to enjoy it because of the pressures and everything that comes with it?
Well, it's just in the level of competition,
Yeah.
I'm very motivated to win. I'm very motivated to, like I said, deliver, because this is a position that I'm very proud of being in. And, I will enjoy it once it is over. I feel like I will very much enjoy it. I just want to make sure.
It was like a half moon.
It was like a half moonsault to the side.
What made Terry Funk want to do a moonsault? You know what I mean? That's crazy, right? What would make Terry Funk want to do a moonsault?
They said he was middle-aged and crazy. Oh my God.
What's that?
This is happening in real time here. I don't even know if I should read this on the show, but this just came out from Triple H. Just received a call from WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda, who has informed us of the tragic news that WWE family member for life, Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, has unexpectedly passed away today. Our thoughts are with his family, and we ask everyone to respect their privacy at this time. That just went out right as we were going on air.
You say Bray Wyatt's passed away?
That comes from Triple H's official Twitter account.
Oh my God, man.
That I didn't mean to drop that right there, but I saw it in the chat, and then I just confirmed it through Triple H's Twitter.
I mean, I don't even have words, man. I don't even have words for it. I don't even know what to say.
No,
I'm at a
we
loss
know.
right now.
We know that he took time off for an undisclosed injury or illness, and I, I'm I'm speechless as well. This is not what we thought we were going to be talking about at this very moment. Should we take a break real quick, Book, and gather some thoughts here?
Break, regroup. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Booker T, 6-time world champ, along with Brad Gilmore, just finding out the sad news that Bray Wyatt, WWE wrestler friend, has passed away. And like I said, I really don't even know how to address this. I really don't have the words actually to put together right now, but I don't even know the situation or anything like that. I just know, like you said, Bray Wyatt stepped away to take some time off due to an injury. Thought we was expecting Bray Wyatt's return to the WWE very soon. This is the last thing that I would imagine, or have dreamt that we would wake up today and to this sad, tragic news that we've lost Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm sure with our entire chat in the wrestling world right now. I mean, unfortunately, we're having to react to this in real time before we have all the information and understanding. Obviously, Triple H tweeted to have respect for the family and the privacy. When he stepped away around WrestleMania time, again, it was reported it was some sort of injury, and then I know there was reports of maybe resting and healing back from an illness of some kind. I really don't even know where to go with this one, Book. But Bray Wyatt, as far as if we can talk from a wrestling standpoint, I don't even want to talk about his wrestling. That doesn't matter right now. It's his family that matters, and all of his fans across the world, and the people who, as you just said, call him friend. This is a
I mean,
unexpected
every
moment.
time we lose a soldier, man, we feel the same way every time. We all go through the same grief every single time. Bray Wyatt, he had kids, and that's the first thing you think about. Especially for me, I lost my dad when I was 10 months old. 10 months, something that I have lived with my whole life. And I feel that's what my heart goes. My heart goes to his kids, his wife, his family, and hopefully there again they can get through this. I know it's going to be hard. And something like this is something that perhaps you can never get through. Seriously.
Yeah, it is hard not to think about his children at this time. I think they had two or three, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but a few kids. And like you said, I thought that we were prepping for his comeback. It felt like that's where we were. Again, he was scheduled back at WrestleMania to wrestle Bobby Lashley, and then that fell back. And we hadn't heard much since. I mean, we never knew the extent of anything that he was going through, and obviously it was a private situation that was kept private. Again, we know, if you're just listening to us and tuning in, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda is his real name, unexpectedly passed away today. Triple H confirmed the news on his Twitter, on his X account. And we don't know anything. And so we can't even speculate on what it could possibly have been. There's no information known at this time. But we just send our thoughts and prayers with the entire family, his wrestling family as well, the WWE universe, everybody who called him a friend, a father, and and I will say this too. I mean, just to talk about the character that he portrayed, he had so many people just organically get behind him. He had the way of captivating you on the screen. I'm sure he had the same way of captivating you in a room. I never had the privilege to meet Bray Wyatt, but I never heard a bad word said about him from anybody. He seemed like a guy who lived and breathed the business, was incredibly creative, a visionary in some ways. And even if not everyone always understood the vision that he had, you knew that he was 100% creative and in his zone and in his element when creating that character on screen. I know, as you said, he's got a wife and kids, and that's where our minds should be. But this was definitely unexpected. Now, we were just talking about Terry Funk as we got this news, and again, we want to extend our condolences to Terry Funk's family as well. At the same time, a great Texan was Terry Funk, and this is a sad 24 hours if you're a pro wrestling fan, to lose a legend like Terry and somebody who we didn't even get to see his best yet. His best was yet to come for Bray Wyatt. Just yeah, I don't know where to go on that one, Bob.
No, man. That's always, like I say, what you do in between your birth date and your death date. Like you said, you're not going to hear any bad words about Bray. I sat and I talked with that kid many, many times, and he seemed, well-grounded, someone who knew exactly what he wanted, someone who had direction and purpose. And then we wake up, 36 years old. He's not here. This is one of those moments, there again, where I say, if you got a loved one, you might want to, hug them a little tighter, because none of us are promised tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, God is going to call all of us one day, we don't know when that day is going to be. That's why I say enjoy every day on this earth that you possibly can, and try to smile every day. Hug the ones you love. That's the only thing you really can do. That's it.
Yeah. According to Fightful.com, who's reporting more on the story, says that Wyatt had been actively recovering from an illness that was described as career and life threatening. WWE and Wyatt had been taking extra precautions before he returned to TV to make sure his long-term health was accounted for. Again, I had heard that, but this is all speculation at this point.
Yeah, I read that too, but I didn't know what that meant.
I didn't know what that meant either. This had been, stuff like that had been reported. But again, at this time, I probably shouldn't even read that. We should just respect the family and their privacy. And we're not going to hear it. We don't know what happened, and nor should we feel entitled to know what happened. That's between his family, his fiance, his kids, and we'll see where the story unfolds. But again, I know Booker at 36 years old. I mean, that's when I start thinking like, wow, I'm about to turn 31 in December, and you start looking at someone who's 36. I mean, that's my sister's age. You think that they're around forever. This is completely shocking. It's just shocking. And like I said, I'm rarely at a loss of how to get back on track, but this is one that I did not expect to be discussing right now. I'll remember his WrestleMania match with The Undertaker and his WrestleMania match with John Cena. I mean, those are things I'm thinking of from a fan's perspective. But this was just terrible. Just terrible to hear.
It's terrible news. It's sad news, and like you said, I don't even know how to process it. This is a sad show, guys. I'm trying to make do with it, but this is a sad show. But one thing I think I know about Bray, he would want us to, carry on and push through. I think that's the mentality of most of the boys.
Show must go on.
Show must go on. Let's get through it. We got a couple more segments. You know what I mean? And we'll definitely miss Bray Wyatt. He will always be in our heart, and his family and all will always be in my prayers. He'll be well missed. Yeah.
But Uncle Howdy and Bray and all these things, these are all real. They're based on moments and things that have really happened. So Uncle Howdy there's so much more to it than you think. It's not just so cut and dry, a spooky man in the background. There's more to it. There's complexities that you haven't got to see yet. There's things that I don't understand about it. And that's the beauty of it, is it's going to grow organically. But the story of it, I don't even think has been told yet. And what if once you understand what it really is and where it came from in my childhood and who Howdy really is, it's much deeper than you think it is.
I flew to Saudi Arabia knowing that I was going to lose. Somehow it changed and the finish was different. And it surely wasn't me, because it's an extremely selfish move, number one, to do. Number two, then truly it wouldn't be about the business, it'd be about myself. And number three, who the hell am I as a part-time guy to come in and demand, and not in a million years in that Fiend situation in Saudi would I have done that.
Man, I keep writing, deleting. I don't know what to say. But I remember how I met Bray. I met him at my tryout, WWE 2010. You know, when everybody gets in the ring, like before the show, and everybody's kind of trying new moves and, you know, trying to figure things out. And I was just an extra on the outside. And I remember Taker called me in the ring because Bray wanted to try some new moves. So that's how I got to meet Bray for the first time. Husky Harris at the time, I believe it was. And I got to sit in the corner, and he gave me that big cannonball over and over and over until Taker was happy with it. Man. But he was such a nice guy because, you know, he took care of me, of course, never hurt me, never did anything. I got signed to WWE, went about a year later to FCW down in Florida. And I never expected anybody to remember me. You know, I was there for like a brief 30 seconds or 30 minutes or whatever it was at the tryout. But I remember Bray or Windham, as soon as he saw me, he was like, hey, I remember you. You were at SummerSlam. You know, I did all these moves. And they make me just feel so good, man, because, you know, especially going a new guy in a WWE developmental, like, you know, and all you hear is like people step on toes and like trying to get your job, and you feel insecure as soon as you get there. Especially me, when I was working just like maybe 3 years in the business, I was green as a grass. But Bray just saying that just made me so much more like welcomed. And that's who he was, man. He was a guy who just made you feel welcomed. It was so like, he could be so gentle, can be so aggressive at the same time, but you can have any kind of conversation with him. His brain never stopped working. And, you know, just, I remember I just showed my wife, like, one of my first matches in FCW was against Bray. And, man, so many memories. But yeah, I'm not a sad day. Very sad day. We all love Bray. We love your family. We're gonna miss you, my man. Rest easy, rest in peace. Say hello to Brody. And we'll see you when the time is right.
Normally, I keep a lot of my outside life separate from anything that I do on here or in the ring. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm incredibly thankful for the support and the love that I've received since I've been back and throughout my career. Wrestling has been a part of my life always. And when I was a kid, I looked at my dad, my uncles, and my grandfather, who were all professional wrestlers. I looked at them as if they were Greek gods or something, like they couldn't feel pain, you know, they were immortal. They will always be just like that. As we get older, you know, and I become a man myself, you know, you start to understand that that's just not the case. You know, nothing is forever. This week, my uncle, Barry Windham, he had a massive heart failure in Atlanta, and he went down, and he didn't have a pulse for 10 to 20 minutes, you know, so he was away, he was gone. And I wanted to thank one specific man, Michael Todd Lalick, who was there, a random citizen, and he gave him CPR in there for that entire time before, you know, everyone else could get, the EMTs could get to him, and he was, you know, he stayed with him, and he's the reason that, you know, we have Barry still. He's alive, he's with us. And Barry Windham has given his life to his profession, you know. his whole life has been about this, just like mine, and he put everything into it, and I just wanted to share that I'm incredibly thankful to have him back. And my sister set up a GoFundMe in his name, and you're not obligated to share. No one's obligated to share anything, but if you could, that would be incredibly helpful. And take it from me, sometimes when you're someone like that, it's incredibly powerful to remind them that they mean a lot to a lot of people. And I hope everyone out there that's hearing this, I hope you take this from me. Be good to the ones you love. Always remind them about that and how much they mean to you, because nothing is forever. Yeah, thank you for everything, guys.
Oh my gosh, working with The Fiend, with WINDHAM, was the most fun I've ever had in my entire WWE career. He is so brilliant with his creativity, and he puts so much effort into his character, so much research. It made me want to step my game up 100%, being like, okay, well, he puts this much thought into his character, I need to put twice as much thought in mine. Because when you step into someone else's kind of gimmick, you don't want to bring it down. Yep. You only want to elevate it. And so I put in so much effort into that and protecting the character.
It was so important that everyone knows it's important. You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing that only I get to have. It's something for me, it's something for my children to see down the line. It's just like a gratification, something that all your hard work and all the years you've been kind of compared to him, even though you didn't ask for it. I think everyone in the world finally understands that I'm never going to be him. I never tried to be him. Why would anyone be him? He's the only Undertaker. And it's not even only that moment. That's a beautiful moment, but just him, just being him and confiding in me, telling me things, helping me along the way. It's always been that way. Just that was the first public moment of it. It's a powerful moment, man. However it lives on in wrestling history, I don't care, because it was for me.
You've seen people pass away, even in your family. Yeah. How is this affecting you?
This one hurt. Unfortunately, in our business, we see a lot of this. We lose a lot of great ones. However, Bray, he was a good brother. He was one of us. He was, man, when I first met him, his dad brought him on the road, and I was up as Manu, and I was his host. Like, his dad asked me to, he was like my rookie. I had to show him around, take him around the boys, take him to catering, be his guy to hang out with all day. And this one sucks. This one hurts. Like, I can't. So a lot of them, they suck. You hear about it like, oh man, it sucks. But this one's really close to home, and my thoughts and prayers are with the family.
Of course, he has small children. He has a wife. And, I'm a father of 3, and I can't imagine, because it's a sudden thing. There were rumors online that said he had an illness and he was about to be cleared and he was going to come back. And everyone was like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And then out of nowhere, it's just, and I think that's the thing all of us need to appreciate is life is so delicate that you wake up, you go to sleep, you might not wake up. And unfortunately, we don't know the extent of what happened with Bray. But all I have to say is, he affected me as a character, as a person. And obviously you have a different relationship with him than I do. But as a TV character, he brought emotion to what he did. He made me feel. He brought passion to everything he did. Very creative mind, you could tell. But so
one of the best to ever cut a promo.
Oh my God.
Let's say what it is. He's one of the best ever on that mic.
Yes.
And man, this one sucks.
And then, so instead of, I know it's a very sad moment, but do you have any fun, Husky Harris stories, Bray Wyatt stories? Because to me, we need to celebrate his life beyond wrestling as well.
Man, it was just one of the last times I remember seeing him, like in his glory, like in full Bray Wyatt, Husky Harris mode was at WrestleMania out in San Francisco when Rikishi got inducted, and we were at the after party and all that, and it was just a great time to be around him. It was just like when I walked in the after party, because nobody knew I was there at WrestleMania. It was the first time I showed up, post my departure from the company. So it was just like when I walked in, all the heads turned and like that, and then right away, Bray was one of the first ones to jump up, run over, come give me a hug, and he was just that kind of guy, man. And man, this sucks. This sucks. Like, please, just cherish life, because this ride isn't forever, and yeah, just check in on those that you don't talk to every now and then. It's good to hear from people. It's good to check in. This is a fraternity that we're in, when regardless if we're in the business together for a year or 10 or 20 or 25, whatever the case may be. If you share the locker room with a lot of us, it's like a fraternity. So we're one big family. When one hurts, we all hurt. And I feel like wrestling is going to need a little time to mourn this one.
100%. Yeah, and you think of the Wyatt family, the group that he formed. We lost Luke Harper, Brody Lee, a couple years ago. Now we lost Bray, and if we're looking at the Wyatt family, you have Eric Rowan and you have Braun Strowman, and that was I think that was one of the most iconic groups as well, because they were fighting the Shield, and the Shield was such a dominant force, and the Wyatt family was, and having their matches and their amazing just rivalry, and the way Bray would cut promos, like you brought up, like, hey man, and he'd have his lantern and the rocking chair,
whole entrance and everything. It was just he was it, man. He was, man.
Even became world champion as well, and not as just Bray Wyatt, but as the Fiend, one of those characters that was out of this world, out of his mind, and a whole different presentation, bringing in characters like Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss, creating a Bray Wyatt world. The puppets,
the puppets,
man. When that puppet popped up, and it was like a weird buzzard, and then he showed up in his like Mr. Rogers sweater, and it was some of the most entertaining television there could possibly be produced by the WWE. If you go back and watch anything Bray Wyatt ever did, it was always a home run, never a miss, never a foul
even like
ball.
his Mountain Dew in the dark, glow in the dark match, and all the stuff that he did. I feel like everything he did was gold.
Yes,
he was a special one. He was one that always had it. He always had it. So
yes, and we discussed earlier about wrestlers like yourself not coming in with their father's last name, Rotunda. He came as Husky Harris, but then eventually transformed into this Bray Wyatt character in NXT and took over the wrestling world. So again, as I said earlier, my thoughts and prayers are with Bray Wyatt and his family. I don't know the extent of what is actually happening, what happened. All I know is my heart hurts and I'm sad. And obviously you have a different relationship with Rotunda family than I do, but it sucks, because when we lose someone like this that affected our lives more so than probably people we immediately know in the real world, it becomes a bit daunting when you're like, wait, these people are human. These aren't just TV characters. They are people who have wives and kids and uncles and aunts. And
when Bray Wyatt walks in the room, he had this energy he sent off. When Wyndham Rotunda walked in the room, he had this energy that he sent off. That wasn't manufactured. That's authentic. That was real. That's what set him apart from a gimmick. Sure, it's a gimmick. We're all gimmicks. The thing is, it wasn't something he had to push. It wasn't something he had to think really hard about. It was something that came natural to him, and he just started cutting those style of promos on promo day. And the American Dream was so intuitive, had that innate ability to capture.
I'm not trying to become Undertaker in no way, shape, or form. I'm trying to be Bray, and I'm trying to create my own legacy. So going forward, all these big matches and all these giant things that I've done and what I'll do in the future, it all will end with a message that I'll be remembered for. And I want one day for a young guy to find out that he is going to be wrestling Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and I want everyone in the room to come congratulate him.